Greetings, Andy here again, and this video is a sort of part two to one I did a couple of weeks ago. And the reason I'm doing it again is that I totally forgot one album, and then when I thought about it, I thought of a few more. So, and you know, whilst there were mixed views, it's not for everyone, I know that, but quite a lot of people really liked it, and I had some requests to do another one. So here I am, and if it's not for you, apologies, move on. But a lot of people do like this sort of thing. So if you didn't see it before, the premise is we've got some albums which have well-known, iconic cover photography, but that photography is very geographic specific. It was taken in a particular place, and what we're doing is going to have a look at at a place and give a chance to guess from it, mostly obvious, but not always, what the actual album was, and then have a look at the two together. So as a sort of quiz, but just a bit of fun. So let's start with the one I forgot last time, and this one is, I think, the most obvious. So, there's a mix of these. Some are harder, but where they're harder, I'm giving lots of clues. So I don't think anyone will not get any of them, either from knowing it or the clue. This one, you don't need any clues. So here we are. This is bloody obvious. This one is, but there you go. So on this picture, which is from an American band, released in 76, was it? I think it was 76. And so I presume the picture was taken then. We're looking at a hotel which has palm trees around it. There are 3 towers here. In the original picture, you can sort of see that you can't see all the buildings around, but it focuses in, sort of zoomed in on 2 of these towers, and you can see palm trees as well. And it was taken at twilight, so it's sort of dark, but there's some light in the sky. So I don't know whether that was dawn or what, but it was taken from a cherry picker somewhere around here, but quite high up. So it sort of looks, you're missing all the stuff there. Let me zoom out from here and get rid of those blue lines. That's the street view. And we'll just go into 3D so you can see around it. And it is the Beverley Hills Hotel, and it is in, let me reset to north, as everyone knows, because you know exactly what it is, Beverly Hills in Los Angeles in California. So, and of course, as you know, it is Hotel California by the Eagles, which came out, of course, in 1976. On these now, I have looked them all up because, while I was filming the actual geographic sequences, I hadn't looked up the dates and couldn't remember when they all were. But here we go, 76. Now you can see it there with the towers on the front of the hotel and that. And of course, the back cover shows the lobby, and I did hope, because sometimes obviously on Google Street View you can actually walk into buildings, and I was hoping that we'd be able to do that with this lobby, but you can't. And the next one is equally famous. So this is an album which was released in 73, was it, or 74? British band. You've probably all guessed it already, because we are in a place called the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, and you can see all these sort of these are basaltic columns where basalt rock and formed from lava cooling, it sort of solidifies into a crystalline structure, creating these hexagonal columns, which obviously over time have eroded down, and there you go. And the picture of course, has 2 young girls climbing sort of across. I presume it must be up that bit, but I'm not sure. Probably up here, I think, from the picture. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's zoom out and get rid of that, and go back to north, and Here we are. Bushmills, of course, is famous for, which is where the Giant's Causeway is. Bushmills Whiskey, which is on the northern coast of Northern Ireland. Now, bizarrely, I can't find my album of this to show. So, here's the picture of the cover, which you obviously know is Houses are Holy by Led Zeppelin, which came out in 1973. Now, I have covered up the things, the children on the cover, because it'll probably get banned by YouTube otherwise, but you know what it is. I've got to go in search. I've had a quick look around, but I can't find it. I know I've got it somewhere. And the next one. Now, this one isn't obvious, because whilst the photo on the cover of this 1972 album is very famous, the background scenery isn't dominant. But it was taken here. This is a place called the Verdon Gorge du Verdon in Provence in southern France. It was organised. It was Storm Thorgerson of Hypnosis, I believe, and it features sort of against the background. So close up, you've got a figure who literally, by the title of the album, is a sentinel, and he's dressed in a costume which comes from the Ken Russell film The Devils. Now, I don't know what the connection is, whether whether it was being shot nearby and they borrowed it, or whether they brought it from London. But anyway, it's looking across this sort of area with the hills in the background, and on the back cover it sort of opens out. If you open out the gatefold and look at it, you can see a flying saucer coming in. So obviously the Sentinel is looking out for aliens, or maybe he's an alien, who knows. But it was taken here, so let me zoom out of it and go back to north, and we are sort of, here's the gorge, and we are in southern France, in the Provence area. And now, this I think is the hardest, because it's the least obvious from the geographic perspective. But I imagine most people would have got it from the clues I gave. Anyway, obviously, I am talking about Argus by Wishbone Ash, which came out in 1972. And Argus, of course, means sentinel, and here's the sentinel. And whilst it's slightly blurred, this is the sort of hilly backdrop to it at the Gorges du Verdon, and then it goes over to the back cover. Equally, sort of like slightly dim, but here in the thing is in the sky is a flying saucer coming down, and that apparently was a costume from The Devils by Ken Russell. So this album cover relates to an album from a British band which was released in the mid-90s. I've forgotten the year, 94 or 95, I think. And it features, not as the main part, but it features a small picture of or photo of Ely Cathedral in some very iconic settings, which I'll come to in a second. So here's Ely Cathedral. We're looking down on it here. The picture is actually taken, if I scroll out a bit, here we go, from this, somewhere around this village in a field, looking across the town to Ely. You can't actually see, it must be on a slight hill, because you can only see the image of the cathedral. So let me just come here, and this isn't the picture itself, but this is one which somebody has taken across whatever field the picture was taken in, and you can see the cathedral there. The town's all in front of it, so but we can't sort of get down there on Google Maps. Now you're thinking, well, so what? Well, there are, in this field when they took it, they put two huge statues around it, so that this was appeared at the foot of it. And you're thinking, well, you've either got this straight away, or you're thinking, what the hell is he talking about? So hypothetically, let me just bring this out, and hypothetically produce a couple of statues which appeared on an album cover, and I'll show you sort of what I mean. Not necessarily this exactly, but you sort of get the gist of it. So I mean, you know, a couple of statues, completely hypothetically, with a picture of Ely Cathedral in the distance. So I'm sure you're totally puzzled now by. So this one, you know, this was also the least obvious, but I've made it obvious. So I don't believe anyone will not have got this if you watched the little video through to the end. And of course, it was the Division Bell by Pink Floyd, which came out in 1994. And there you can see they've got these two great big sculptures which they put up in the field of Ely Cathedral in the backdrop. And interestingly, to me, if you turn it over, the back cover's got another two sculptures on there, with another church in the middle with a steeple on it. I've no idea what that is or where it is. All the search I've done, I mean, I've not spent long on it, but it always comes up with Ely from the front cover. So, and we move on. It's an American band, and the picture was taken. Now, I've got to say, this isn't necessarily the exact spot. It was taken along the. Let me. I've forgotten what it is. US Route 95 in Nevada, as the band drove along from their home in Georgia to California. So they did a road trip right across the states, and the band's singer took the photo across of this sort of desert scene with sort of the hills in the background, out of the car window basically as they drove along, and it appears on the front cover of one. Well, it's my sort of equal favourite of them. It's in black and white on the picture, but you can tell there's some movement going on, and there's also the sky. There's cloud in the sky. Unlike this Google picture, it was. Let me zoom out. So if you know the album cover, you will have got this. Imagine this in black and white with a slightly cloudy sky, looking across scrubby desert to some hills in the foreground and other ones in the back. Not necessarily these exact ones, but it was broadly in this area. So let me get rid of that. Go north again so I can see exactly where we are. And basically it was in a place, it was taken along this road between, where the road goes up here somewhere and then comes along here, between this little tiny town of Mercury and the Armagosa Valley. So don't know exactly where, but somewhere along this road it was taken, and the picture I've just done is sort of like roughly in the middle of it. Somewhat randomly, and of course so let's scroll out to see where we are, and we're here, and whoops, we've come all the way from Georgia. We've come all the way from Georgia along this sort of road, and we've got sort of here somewhere we've taken the picture. So I'm sure you know what that one is. And of course, it is New Adventures in Hi-Fi by R.E.M. And you can see the you can see the landscape, the desert landscape, some hills in the foreground, some in the background. And this was taken by Stipe out of the car window as they were driving along that stretch of road that I showed, not necessarily the exact spot, but the stretch of road. And I love this album. It's I and R between this and Automatic of the People. Depends what sort of mood I'm in. And we move on. Okay, so this album, we're looking at these steps along here, which feature in an album which was released in 1977. It was the debut of this British band, and let me go on to 3D so we can see it come round, and the steps run up the side of this building up to this sort of platform, and apparently the band's rehearsal room was one of these places up here. At the time, back in 50 years ago nearly, this was actually a ramp, not steps. Now it's steps, and there are marks on there, and let me show you a picture of the steps as they are now. These are they, and the band has seen sort of stood on them in the picture. Let me come back to here again, and we'll come out of 2D, go back to reset to north, and just scroll out so you can see where we are. We're in Camden Market there, and that is the famous roundhouse in Camden, and that's in North London. So I'm sure you've got this one already, but and again, I doubt there's too many surprises here, and it is the Clash's eponymous debut, released in 1977, and there are 3 of them. I don't know, I think it's a drummer missing, isn't it? Tory Crimes, but you can sort of see they're on those steps, except they're not steps there. There's it's a ramp up, but they've been converted to steps since. And you know, people go along there just to see it. So on this mid-70s album, I really, before I started this, I should have looked up the dates of release, but we're starting on a beach, but the beach isn't relevant. What is relevant is this house, which is the back of which is on the beach. This is as far as we can zoom in. It's an album by a solo artist who had been in several bands, but this was a solo release. And the front cover of the album shows the right hand side of this building. You can't see that. You can see at least one. Yeah, you can see one. I think I don't know. I don't know whether the other's been airbrushed out or whether it just wasn't there at the time. You can't see any buildings behind, whether they were there or not. And there was actually a chimney here on the right hand side, and the artist is sort of stood in front with his hands folded in front of this sort of extension area at the back here, and then on the back cover. You over here, and he's sat sort of in front of this side of it, playing his guitar. Now, in those days, the house was white, not sort of orangey pink as it is now, and this top, it finished here. So I think this upper story here has been added since. Obviously, it's I think I mentioned it's a British artist. Obviously, we're not in Britain here. So let me just zoom out and then go to the front of the house so we can see it. Move along a bit, and there's the front of it. Obviously, the pictures are on the back. And as a bit of a giveaway, it is number 461 on this boulevard, shall we say. And let me zoom out, get rid of those, go north, reset to north, and zoom out. I've given it away. What's that say? 461 Ocean Boulevard. Well, that's the address. And it's in Florida, just north of Miami, and it's on Golden Beach. So there you go. I've told you what the album is. Another one which was a complete giveaway because it's surprising. The actual address of the actual name of the album, 461 Ocean Boulevard, is actually literally the address of this house that was taken there. And as you can see, it looks different now, but it's essentially the same. And if we can, can't quite move out enough to show it all, but you can sort of see that they've got this on this side at the sort of right-hand end as you're looking at it. He's there, and then as it moves along, he's outside the other one and playing his guitar on there. So, so not, you know, it's of its time, isn't it? It's got a few good tracks on it, but it's not a brilliant album. It's an okay album, but I had this when it came out, so that's an original. Debut album of this American band, which came out in 1973, and we are in a small. The picture is taken in a small town called Jonesboro in Georgia, just south of, I think it's south of Atlanta. And on the photo, basically, you can't tell any of these buildings because the photo is of the band, and there were 7 of them in it, and they're basically stood here on the pavement. These shrubs weren't there at the time, and I don't think they were actually there at all, because it looks, the photo was taken from around here, and the band were all stood on the pavement here. So it was taken up the pavement, but you can tell that this brick wall, there was sort of one leaning against it, a couple of others out into the street, and some of the others sat on a ledge in front of here. They were a southern rock band, and they came from, not from Georgia. Let me zoom out from here so we can see where we are. Get rid of the street view. Go back to north. And they came from, you see there's Atlanta just north of it. They came from somewhere in this state next door to it. So they've took the picture over here, but this is where they come from. Alabama. It must be their sweet home. I wonder who that can be. And finally, the last one, again, I doubt, I mean, you know, the place isn't necessarily very famous, but the album cover is, and of course I gave it away with enough clues. It's Lynyrd Skynyrd, and pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd. Their debut 1973, and here you see the band, all 7 of them on the pavement. You sort of see them, you know, one leaning against that sort of brick side of it on the pavement, and then the others sat along there. But there's no shrubs, so I'm pretty sure those shrubs haven't been airbrushed out, because you wouldn't take a picture by there. So they've obviously been planted since, probably to stop people doing this, I guess. So that's it. You know, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not going to do any more because I don't think I've got any, and I don't want to milk this one. It was fun for a couple of short videos. A lot of people like that sort of thing. I do. A lot of people really don't care. Fair enough. But anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers.